You're about to see exactly what I'm talking about when we shouldn't trust streamers with Classic Plus. Just wait and see. I've watched the first 2 minutes. I wanted to verify it's okay. Just wait. It's going to be a good one.
If
I haven't
you guys
watched
are
the rest.
watching my stream live at BlizzCon, you guys know I do a big thing for BlizzCon. I'm IRL streaming. I'm there like in person for the talks, for the panels. I have like the feed on the screen. Like we do a big thing for BlizzCon. It's very cool, right? We're gonna be doing more big things this year for BlizzCon. I have a big event that I'm in the process of planning. I want to announce it very soon, but I'm waiting for some key things to get squared away to do the official announcement. So if you guys are going to BlizzCon, keep an eye out for the day before BlizzCon, Friday night. So BlizzCon's gonna be Saturday, Sunday. There's gonna be something Friday night. Just keep an eye out. If you guys remember.
Now, already this is a huge problem, by the way. I'm not going to pause immediately. I'm just going to mention that if someone is that deep in cahoots with Blizzard, you should never trust them.
Whenever the Season of Discovery announcement was made, during the announcement, I was very just like, I mean, they were announcing like rogues being able to tank, mages being able to heal. And I was like kind of looking around the room and the people were cheering and I'm like, what are we doing here? I got to play it at BlizzCon, which is great. I was super thankful to be able to get a firsthand experience of it. I was like, you know what? That was kind of weird, but it's not
talking
as bad
about
as I
Todd.
first thought. There's some things about this that were fun. I talked to Agrand about it extensively.
Yeah, he's talking about Season of Discovery, just so you guys won't get confused.
And every time I get to talk to somebody like Agrand, I've gotten a chance to talk to WoW devs a lot over the years, current devs, former devs, whether it's the guys that like originally worked on the game, Jeff Kaplan, Kevin Jordan, Mark Kern, John Statz, like having a chance to talk to the original guys. I've learned so much from talking to these guys. I've learned so much about not just WoW, but like game design in general and like the way these guys think about things. And they're
and how to snatch a warm bottle of milk under 5 seconds. Yeah, truly, Blizzard employees, you can learn so much from them. You can truly siphon the knowledge they've garnered and cultivated over the years.
Legitimately, like these guys are like geniuses. Like I have so much respect for not just them, but the amount of time that they spent talking to me about these kinds of things. And even now, like, you know, we'll still talk and I'll message them off stream.
Everyone who works at Blizzard is a prodigy at malpractice and, you know, just, okay, it's okay. Let's not pause too much right now.
And it's cool.
I can go on and on, it's fine.
I've also gotten a chance to talk to a lot of these guys. It's very interesting because sometimes I will talk about something with WoW and I'll be like, what the hell are we doing here? What is going on?
Okay.
And I'll talk to some of these guys and I'm like, okay, we're on the same page. So what's going on here? We're actually on the same page. So what the hell is the deal? A big part of it is when a team gets so big, there's so many different like checks and balances and things that happen and it takes so long and like just because I might agree.
So remove those checks and balances. Make a smaller team that is dedicated to working on World of Warcraft and make it better. You don't need a bunch of HR Karens and financial guys in suits telling you what to do or which direction to take the game in. You need sweaty, balding men deciding how World of Warcraft should look like.
Agree with like, let's say like I'll have a conversation with a guy and like we agree on a concept, but like it's obviously like that's not what's happening. It's like what the hell's going on here? I might talk to all these people and like I agree with one person here and like we agree on this and I agree with that guy on this and I agree with that guy on this. But then it's like, does that work all the way through? I mean, I'll be honest with you. Half the time I'm talking to these guys and it's like they can't always.
Does it work all the way through? You know, they have like a really cool idea for a character and then it like reaches to Holly Longdale. She looks at this and it's like, damn, that's a big man with muscles. Hell no. I'm about to take that out. It's you just know that's what's happening. And it's so unfortunate. He can't say it in detail because obviously he is lying in the same bed with Blizzard. He doesn't want to be monetarily crippled because of it. And I respect the hustle, right? I do get it. So I will say it for him. Holly Longdale should get the boot. Holly Longdale destroyed the game. She had her chance. She had many years to work upon World of Warcraft. And she screwed up every single time. She gotta go. She gotta go, and the same group of people who hijacked the narrative of World of Warcraft, they should all be out of there immediately. The moment they would be gone, Blizzard and World of Warcraft in particular can start the healing process.
It's like tell you exactly what's going on, right? Because their own stuff. And I'll be like, what about this? Or what's going on here? Or what do you think about this? And sometimes they're just like, I won't say who in particular does this because I think it's very funny, but there's like There's one guy in particular, like sometimes I'm talking to him and he just looks at me and he's like, and I'm like, I'm preaching to the choir, aren't I? Like,
Yeah.
I know I'm preaching to the choir when I talk to this one.
Are they like neutering all the Blizzard employees? Like they literally cannot say what they think? It's so insane that Blizzard is truly sitting on a golden goose when it comes to World of Warcraft, and they're intentionally not doing anything. Intentionally, you can tell. Even their employees are so disgruntled, they cannot do anything. They don't have a say in anything. They're just doing grunt work, and they want to affect the game in a meaningful way. It's so horrendous. And people thought that moving from Activision to Microsoft was actually going to solve this. Yeah, true.
In particular. I'm like, back to the original sort of point of what I'm saying here. SOD was announced and I was like, this is weird. I played it. I was like, wait, this isn't so bad. But I was worried. I was worried about a number of things. And one of the key things that I mentioned back then, I don't know if this was in a YouTube video or on a live stream or whatever, and this is something I told Blizzard right then and there. I said, I'm so worried that this thing just snowballs out of control and you're going to get so much bloat. It essentially is going to kind of turn into retail. I would call...
You thought they were going to update Season of Discovery? Brother, it was always a quick crash grab. Everyone knows that. It was a cheap attempt for Blizzard to mask as a Classic Plus because right now there's a insane amount of hype upon it. And whenever it failed and Season of Discovery flopped hard, Blizzard just immediately dipped and said it was an experiment. It was obviously a lie. Everyone knows it. It was a quick crash grab. And actually, maybe it was successful in doing that because while people will gobble up anything that remotely resembles Classic or Classic Plus for that matter. So maybe they were successful.
SOD, like retail minus in a lot of ways, because there's so many systems and
but
weird
long
things
term
that
they
are
failed.
introduced to the game that they did kind of use SOD as a testing ground for Classic Plus beta. And I said this years ago, and I was like, I think during the announcement, I was like, this is 100%, this is Classic Plus beta, 1000%.
No, it's not. It's not even remotely close to a Classic Plus. You want Classic Plus? Go play Turtle WoW. Oh, you can. Blizzard shut them down because it was really good Classic Plus experience. Of course. So, at this point, I think the Blizzard glaze began. By the way, this is the point where I stopped watching. So, from this point out, everything he's going to say is new to me.
Still think that. And I still think that things they did in SOD, not everything was bad, don't get me wrong, but I do think that the way that they approached a lot of the problems or the things they wanted to have a solution for, I think it was kind of the tale as old as time sort of issue with Blizzard, and it's a Band-Aid fix. Everything kind of has a Band-Aid fix. They don't try and fix a problem from the root. They go and they're like, oh, well, people don't like this, and this seems to be an issue, so let's kind of like slap a new system on top of this, or slap a new system on top of that, and kind of just deal with it. And it kind of...
W. Actually, I did not expect a W from Espen there. True. And this is the exact problem with retail. Every expansion, we're swapping out, in and out, like 5 different systems because nothing really works. It's like, oh, people don't like this? Okay, let's add that. Oh, people want this? Okay, let's add this, take away that. Talents are trash. Okay, let's do some pruning. And like the talents are probably the best example I can give you, right? Because every expansion they pile up, it becomes too much. Then they do some pruning and people are like, that's not good enough. It was never the problem with talents. The problem with talents is that they're not really fun or exciting right now. That's the real issue. But Blizzard think that like number of talents is what make people like, it's what makes the difference. And honestly, it's not even the talents because the talents are actually quite okay right now in Midnight. It's just that the game is so fast and you get all the talents really fast. You don't need to work from them. You don't have delayed gratification. And again, hyper fast gameplay is the root of the problem in many of Blizzard games right now. It's, you know, it kind of makes sense, I guess, in Diablo because it's an ARPG, but in World of Warcraft, it completely butchered the game. Completely butchered the game. There's nothing good about it, and that's really the root of all problems. That is what they need to take care of, but they will never do that because the game is currently designed for modern audience that don't even play it.
It works in the interim. It works in the short period of time, but it causes other problems down the road, and it eventually will change the game entirely into what retail is. And by the way, retail is fine. I think there's a lot of people that like retail for what it is.
Nobody likes retail. The game is like fake, and the entire game is just filled with bots. The numbers are obviously being bloated. The numbers aren't real. They're just being propped up with bots. Everyone knows it. Like, stop shilling. It's disgusting. Like, stop making people think that retail is active. If you want to see how active retail WoW is, go actually play it. But nobody does that. I did that. I saw how many bots were running rampant openly out there in the cities. Just go to Silvermoon and see for yourself. It's that easy. But again, these people don't play retail, so they don't know. Esfand himself admits to not playing retail. So I don't know why he's even saying that. It's just ridiculous. Everyone knows that retail numbers are fake. Everyone, because every bot is a paying customer for Blizzard. That's why they don't take care of the problem. It's the same with Twitch. Everyone's botting on Twitch, and people know that. Okay, it's so obvious. You can literally check it right now live on stream. Go check top streamers and see. Go check washed up streamers that are being propped by bots, by view botters. You can see that they have like 10k views and minus 35 followers on the same stream. That is quite literally impossible. So it's so easy to verify too. It's just so insane to me that people actually believe these fake numbers. The moment Blizzard will start taking care of bots, no one would play retail. And they know that. That's why they don't do it.
I'm coming from a very specific audience of person. Put it on a vendor syndrome. I love that term. I love that you called it that, because that's a lot of like how I feel. I'm a very specific generation of WoW player that Blizzard has lost. Do I still play WoW? Yes, I love Burning Crusade. I love vanilla. I'm doing what I think is my last run of Burning Crusade right now. There's certain things that would make me want to play classic vanilla again. A couple things, if they changed, I would be like, you know what, let's run it back. And then the other is a Classic Plus done the right way. I feel like if Classic Plus comes out, I will play it, no matter what. It's a new launch, it's hype, it's something we've been asking for years.
It's money.
It's something that I've been like begging for years. It is how my
It's a lot of money.
Streaming career started, kind of being the guy pushing for Classic WoW in the first place, and it leading into Classic.
Okay, it's a big sack of money. We get it.
Plus, there's no way that I'm gonna not do that. But for how long? It all depends on the meat of the game, the gameplay loop, and the systems and stuff that keep you in the game. The nostalgia is the hook, the spectacle.
No, it's not. I'm not nostalgia bound. Classic was good because Classic was a fire game, the best MMO ever. The nostalgia argument died the moment Classic re-released. Everyone knows that. Stop faking it. It's not nostalgia. I came into World of Warcraft during Draenor because, you know, that's the time when I got my first credit card. My parents refused to buy me anything online and video games for that matter, which, by the way, W parents, I guess. But I purchased World of Warcraft with my own money. That was actually my first purchase ever, believe it or not. Can you imagine? You get your first credit card and the first thing you buy is Warlords of Draenor. I guess I really wanted to do them table missions, huh? But yeah, the garrison farming wasn't really for me. I tried it until, you know, Legion and BFA. BFA, I ended up quitting. I understood that pushing turtles into the water isn't going to make me hooked about this game. I tried to realize the hype. I tried to get into it. I tried to see what was the World of Warcraft that everyone talked about without even realizing this game was long dead. But that was my experience. Whenever Classic came out, my good friend who actually played Classic on release, I mean, not on release, when it was released for the first time, believe it or not, he played it as a kid. He told me, you gotta play this version of the game. It's completely different, and nothing is similar to what you know. So we played together, and oh boy, from that moment on, I knew what an MMORPG should look like, what an MMORPG should be like. And I have no idea how in 20 plus years of MMORPG creations, we've never seen anything remotely close to vanilla World of Warcraft, save for Rift maybe. And that game failed because it came during Blizzard Wrath of the Lich King, so it stood no chance. But that's a discussion for a different day. Regardless, this is not about nostalgia. I wasn't nostalgia bound. Many players like me aren't nostalgia bound. Stop with that cope. It's just a straight up lie.
Is the hook. These are all things that it's a layup. Anything that Blizzard does next for WoW is going to be Classic Plus, if that makes sense. I think whatever Blizzard comes out with next is going to be seen as this brand new reimagining of Classic WoW, whether it's Classic Plus or everything but the next retail expansion. They're going to see it as that, and it's going to have this hype. If Season of Discovery were to come out now, it's Classic Plus because of what this community has done to itself. The community has hyped this thing up. Blizzard needs to understand that whatever they're doing here, the stakes are high, bro. If they come out with a Classic Plus and it is not up to par, if it doesn't hit, they're in very bad shape.
Exactly. And this is doubly true nowadays because they took down all the Classic Plus private servers, which is acceptable. It's their IP. I'm not going to tell them not to do it. But you should understand that like people expectation right now are Total WoW at the baseline and above it. And if you can't one-up your fans using your own engine, you're revolting. Like, that's insane. Like, all you can do is just literally puke at their direction. It's insane. There would be nothing else, and players would be so pissed. They would be so mad, because if you would not be able to get over Turtle WoW Head, people are never gonna let this one slide through. They would never let you forget that. And don't get me wrong, people will still try out Classic Plus just for the gist of it at the first month, but in long term, the game would immediately die. It won't last over a couple of months, and then Blizzard will just leave it to rot and die. And Classic Plus is something that will need constant maintenance, constant updates, because people do expect long-term commitment from Blizzard, and they want to be committed to the game themselves. So Blizzard do need to deliver on that one, and he's actually right about this.
I don't think they can afford to have something with this much hype end up being like Season of Discovery was as far as the results. Discovery was very popular at the beginning. Everybody tried it, and it's going to have that. But this taper off that every MMO will have, every MMO in the current year will have this big hype period, and then it's going to taper off. It's just the nature of it. And then slowly, hopefully, if it's good, we'll slowly build back up. That's what you want. That's what you're looking for.
Funny enough, World of Warcraft didn't have that. World of Warcraft, if you go look at the old graph, it's literally like this. It's literally like this. It peaked in Wrath of the Lich King, and then it like slowly went down, and then it really picked up in Warlords of Draenor because of the insanely good trailer they had, and then people actually played the expansion and immediately dipped. So it's not really true what he's saying. I think it's true nowadays because the market is so saturated with new games and everyone just constantly jumping between them. But that being said, I don't think that should be true. I think the game can slowly rise up if trust in Blizzard would rise as well. But unfortunately, trusting Blizzard is like trusting Satan. So you really need to keep your wits to yourself here.
Looking for. The hope is that it's good enough to keep people in, that it tapers off as little as possible. That's what you're hoping for. Sometimes I do worry that Blizzard has this audience. This is the audience Blizzard has, and this is the audience Blizzard wants. Instead of catering to what's already there, they're trying to grab something that's not there, and it's a problem.
Yes.
What I think Blizzard needs to do, Blizzard needs to go after me, my audience, where I came from. I'm the 2004, the original vanilla WoW player. I'm the Burning Crusade player. I played the OG versions of the game, right? I played them a lot. I was a kid. I came back to private servers to like finish it. Be like, man, I'll run it back again. No, actually, you know what? I came back to private servers to kind of just do something. I'm like, yeah, you know, I'll do this again. We'll see how it is. Like, I'll level on a Blizz-like server with progressive itemization and all this stuff. This is like the Elysium server that was based off the Nostalrius core, and it led the push for legacy servers. That was like the crux of it, was what they did with Nostalrius, which, by the way, Blizzard still never did, and they never did the best version of a vanilla WoW that they could, which would have been that, like a true...
Damn, that's crazy. Did he stream himself playing private servers? Because that's against the OS. I almost did it by accident until people warned me Blizzard were on my ass, and I like immediately dipped. That's crazy, bro. Like, stuff big streamers get away with is actually insane. But maybe he didn't stream it, and that's like fine. I just don't know, really. They took him down? Okay. So at least we have that. At least Blizzard were rightful of that. Okay, finally. some equality.
Blizz like vanilla WoW. They were
By the way, if this was another person, he would have been permanently banned though.
less Blizz like than the private servers, Nostalrius, Elysium, Light's Hope, that came before that led this whole charge. I do think those were better than what Blizzard came out with in 2019. Unfortunately. On the flip side, I think Burning Crusade Classic that I played in like 2020, 2021 was more fun than the Burning Crusade that I played originally. Like that was the most fun I ever had. Gameplay wise. Every time I do this, man, it kind of turns into a whole discussion. We're like 2 minutes into this video. Season Discovery was not Classic Plus. It was Classic Plus Beta. It was a testing grounds for different things that they could try. And I think that the way that they approached a lot of problems was Band-Aid fixes.
Like, how can you even realistically call it Classic Plus? What was it that was constituting a Classic Plus experience for you? Like, he would never go into detail explaining it because he's lying through his teeth. That's what I really don't like about streamers, about WoW streamers in particular. They all lie. They all lie, they all obfuscate, they all use a certain language that makes sure you don't really understand to the fullest what they're saying, because they can't be clear about anything. And the reason is, they're in cahoots with Blizzard. That's why whenever he said earlier that Blizzard should target him, and he didn't go into further detail, what he meant is that Blizzard should stop pandering to women and children and should go after nerdy men. That's what he wanted to say. Now he can't say it because he knows that like Blizzard will cook him alive. He knows that, so I will say it for him. And by the way, it's not like women didn't like World of Warcraft. Literally, Asmongold's mother played World of Warcraft, but they weren't the target audience. The target audience was always young adults. And that was cool, and that was good, and that was great, and that was fine. You don't have to pander to people who do not even play your game. You don't have to pander to people who all they want is to be seen as like these virtuous gods that we have to sit below to and just, I don't know, suckle on their toes. I really don't know what these people like. To be honest, it might be just anything. They're so weird. You don't have to do that. Just go back to your roots. But no, Blizzard want to virtue signal. They want to use this performative language. They want to make sure that they seen as the heroes of Earth while they're doing Darkspear, Troll, Rainbow, Dash events that nobody actually participate in for a cause that is unknown at best, and making a big deal out of it. That is cringe. These type of players were always on the fringe. You should never take them seriously, and you should always cater to the people who actually loves and play your game.
Fixes do not work to fix things. And why do people want vanilla so bad? People want vanilla. People want classic, right? Now, people want a little bit more. They want a little bit of sprinkles. They want a little bit of plus, right? Maybe they want a little bit of fruit in their frozen yogurt. The core of what they want is that classic WoW plus. I think when you do too many things to fix problems, to come up with solutions.
Yeah, women like WoW. There was an old Craigslist post of some woman who wanted to mount in one sentence if you... Oh, God. Okay, yeah, I see what you're talking about, but listen... Women, of course, they love World of Warcraft. Why wouldn't they? They had some badass heroes. Everyone loves them. The thing is, oh, Jesus, what a voice crack. What I meant by that is that Blizzard version of a woman is what people don't actually like. Blizzard think, oh, just add sparkles, just add rainbows. That's what these broads like, right? No, that's not it. Like, why wouldn't they love dark, gritty fantasy? It clearly worked previously, so why not now? It's just Blizzard version idea of a woman is what irritates me, because it's clearly wrong. And it's the same with men. Exactly the same with men. They think men actually like to sit there for 3 hours watching Anduin cry. Like, do you really think I want to watch this man baby cry over some green baby shoulder? I don't want to watch that. I don't want to be girl boss by Sylvanas, slay Queen Ark after the jailer embarrassment. I don't want to watch that crap. I just want to watch Garrosh again. Garrosh wasn't the villain, he was the hero. I'm starting to realize that by the day now.
For things that people want anyway, you end up having this issue of now you are over-optimizing the game. You're over-homogenizing the classes. There's not distinct class design. Every single class in Vanilla WoW is different. In Burning Crusade, it starts to overlap a little bit. Muddies the waters. So you have distinct class design, tank identity, healer identity, DPS identity in Vanilla. Things kind of start to do this a little bit in Burning Crusade. In Wrath, Wrath is like kind of, it's pretty muddy.
Yeah.
Right? I would say it overlaps kind of hard. And then by the time you get to Cataclysm, it's completely out the window. That is now a different type of game. And Blizzard needs to understand this and they need to learn this. The class design of whatever happens next is pivotal to the success of a Classic Plus. The class design has to be good. You need to have that class flavor. You need to have that tank identity. You need to have the healer identity. You need to have the DPS identity. When I play a paladin, I play a paladin. When I play a rogue, I am a rogue. A warrior is a warrior. They're all different. It's insanely important. And if you optimize everything out of it, a shaman is a shaman, especially for the hybrids, by the way. Hybrid design is so important. People are like, oh, well, they think paladin is boring. You know what? Maybe paladin isn't for you. You think shaman is boring? Maybe shaman isn't for you.
Facts. If you like every single class in a video game, the design is bad. I always said that. I shouldn't love a rogue. If I love a rogue in Guild Wars 2, that means Guild Wars 2 is doing something wrong. Like, I shouldn't be liking rogues. I hate stealth, I hate being sneaky, I hate fast attacks. So, everything that constitutes a rogue as a whole, I dislike. So, if you make a rogue that I enjoy playing, you didn't do a great job, you did a poor one.
Different class. Shaman doesn't need to be just like a rogue or a warrior. Paladin doesn't need to be just like a rogue or a warrior. Druid doesn't need to be just like a rogue or a warrior. What happened in retail? They were like, oh, we can't figure out a way to balance cat and bear, so we're just gonna split them into two separate specs. We're gonna have like Feral, I think still is the name of the DPS cat spec, and then Guardian is bear. And there's, dude, oh, damn. This is turning into like a whole separate discussion, separate video. But let's kind of reel it back in. I want to look at what Mad Season did, and let's talk more about what Mad Season's talking about here. The rune system.
Okay,
I
haven't watched
was
this.
A fun idea at first.
So, okay, wait. Oh, he's talking about the rune system?
Some ideas are good ideas for a certain period of time. I don't want to dump on the rune system this much because I think a lot of people think runes are stupid and sod. I'm going to be.
They are. They just borrowed like abilities from previous expansions. Like, what are we talking about here? Of course, that was the laziest thing you could have done. And some of these were new, and like that's great, obviously. But for the most part, it was just like 80% borrowed stuff. Like, who cares? We already played with this.
Fair and say that I think the rune system for phase 1 and how they wanted to do it was actually incredibly fun. It was super good. I remember doing that Divine Storm quest and it felt like everybody in the world was trying to find out how to get Divine Storm at level 25. It was really cool at the beginning. The problem here is it's not a good system for the long term. It's not something that like the gameplay loop over time can be maintained.
Okay, I think he's just going to talk about irrelevant things from now on. He's just going to react to the Mad Season show vid. Anyway, guys, I hope what I wanted to tell you came across as clear. This is why you really shouldn't trust streamers with Classic Plus and any information they give you. They're in the same bed with Blizzard. They don't really care about anything save for padding their own wallets. And unfortunately, you could have seen this clear as day in this video. Even though, I will say, he had some really great points there. But he couldn't go into further detail. He couldn't tell Blizzard what to actually do. Because he doesn't care enough, and he knows that nothing really matters unless he opens his mouth and actually talk against this. But he would never speak against this. Streamers will never speak against Blizzard, and that's what's going to kill World of Warcraft Classic Plus.